Imagine you're standing in the middle of a stunning, endless field of wild sunflowers. The air is crisp, the beauty is overwhelming, and an intense, visceral feeling washes over you. You look at one specific, perfect flower and say, "I love this flower so much." And immediately, driven by that so-called love, you pluck it from the ground. You take it home, place it in the most expensive glittering crystal vase you can find, and display it proudly in your living room. You change the water every day. You stare at it. We give this action a beautiful, romanticized name. We call it love. But let's be brutally, uncomfortably honest for a second. That isn't love. That is a deeply selfish act of possession. Did you ever stop to ask if that flower wanted to be torn from its roots? Did it want to live its full, natural life under the chaotic open sun, or did it want to wither away prematurely in a jar of artificial water purely for your visual entertainment? If you've ever felt suffocated in a relationship, or if you constantly live in a quiet, agonizing fear of your partner cheating or leaving you, you might be holding on to a crystal vase. Today, we are going to dismantle everything society has taught you about relationships. We're going to explore why your instinct to hold on tight is exactly what is pushing them away, and why absolute freedom is actually the highest, most unbreakable form of connection. But before we unlock the psychological framework of the 3 no's of true love, if you want to master the psychology of human connection and build unshakable relationships, hit that subscribe button right now. We dive deep into the uncomfortable truths no one else wants to talk about. To understand why our modern relationships are failing at such a catastrophic rate, we have to look at how we've been conditioned to view love. We are taught that love equals ownership. You are mine and I am yours. It sounds romantic in a pop song, but in psychological terms, it's a recipe for disaster. When we look at classic literature, we see this toxic form of love perfectly illustrated by the character of J. Gatsby, created by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Gatsby believed with every fiber of his being that he loved Daisy, but in reality, he was in love with an illusion. He was obsessed with the ghost of who she used to be 5 years in the past. He wanted to uproot her from her current life, erase her choices, and place her inside his glittering, magnificent mansion. He completely ignored the fact that she was a living, breathing human being who had fundamentally changed. Psychologists call this anxious attachment mixed with a severe projection of our own unmet needs. We don't see the person, we see the role we want them to play in the movie of our life. And when they deviate from the script we wrote for them, when they want to go out with friends, when they have a different opinion, when they need space, we panic. We tighten the grip. This possessive love doesn't bring happiness, it only brings a suffocating sense of claustrophobia. In stark contrast to the crystal vase and Gatsby's mansion, true love operates much like raising pigeons in the countryside. Have you ever noticed a fundamental design flaw in a traditional pigeon cage? It has no doors, it has no locks. The owner simply provides food, builds a warm shelter, and allows the birds the absolute freedom to fly anywhere they desire. The sky is theirs. Yet every evening the pigeons return. Why? Because when a living creature realizes that a place is truly safe, it doesn't just return, it brings others back with it. They stay because they choose to, not because they are trapped. This is the ultimate terrifying secret to longevity in a relationship: giving without taking and giving without demanding. When you create an environment where the other person feels profoundly peaceful and safe, they will voluntarily bond with you without needing a single chain. But how do you actually build this cage without doors? Is it even possible in our hyper-connected modern world of dating apps, seen receipts, and constant anxiety? The answer lies in a philosophical framework known as the three no's, the absolute backbone of true love. But I warn you, the second no is going to challenge everything you know about being a good and protective partner. Principle 1. No possession. The right to freedom. To love someone is to let them be free. You do not enter their life to change their habits, rewire how they think, or manage their schedule. If you fall in love with a bird, its rightful place is the open sky, not your gold-plated cage. Let's look at a modern case study. We'll call them Mark and Sarah. Sarah loves Mark, but she is terrified of losing him. So what does she do? She asks for his phone passwords in the name of total transparency. She gets upset when he plays video games with his friends instead of texting her back immediately. She subtly criticizes his wardrobe until he dresses exactly how she wants. Sarah thinks she is building a secure relationship, but psychologically, she is building a prison. We see relationships shatter constantly because of this excessive control. The tighter you try to hold on with iron chains, the more desperate the human soul becomes to escape. When you try to possess someone, you are subconsciously telling them, "I do not trust you to choose me on your own." And that lack of trust is the rot that will eventually destroy the foundation of the house. Principle 2. No harm. Absolute safety. Entering a relationship only to cause harm to one another means it is no longer love, it is trauma bonding. And I'm not just talking about the obvious physical harm, I'm talking about the insidious, silent emotional violence that we normalize in modern dating. It's the constant, subtle judgments. It's the irrational jealousy that forces your partner to walk on eggshells. It's the bitter, cutting words spoken in the heat of an argument, words designed specifically to hit their deepest insecurities because you know exactly where their armor is weak. True love must foster growth and benefit both individuals. It must be a sanctuary, not a war zone. Look at the literary archetype of Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Despite his deformed exterior and the cruelty of the world, his love for Esmeralda was defined by pure, unadulterated protection. He saved her, cared for her, and here is the most crucial part. He was willing to watch her be with someone else as long as she was safe and happy. He never harmed her, manipulated her, or guilt-tripped her to satisfy his own emotional voids. That is the profound, almost superhuman nobility that true love aims for. No harm means creating a space where your partner can take off their armor and breathe. Principle 3. No demands. The journey of the fulfilled. This is the stark dividing line between true love and a transactional romance. In today's dating market, relationships have become business negotiations. We enter them to make demands. I will give you my time, but I demand you text me good morning every day. I demand you buy me gifts. I demand you make me feel whole. And the moment those demands aren't met, we suffer, we throw tantrums, we pull away. But true love is an active verb, not a business contract. The mindset of true love is, I love because I want to love. It is the overflow of a cup that is already full. You give a gift simply because the act of giving brings you joy, not because you are silently marking a scoreboard, waiting for them to return the favor on your birthday. Psychologically, if you enter a relationship feeling like a half-empty vessel needing someone else to fill you up, you will inevitably become demanding and toxic. But if you can love someone, give to them, and feel completely whole even if they do nothing in return, you have transcended. You have reached the master level of emotional maturity. Now, I know exactly what the cynical part of your brain is screaming right now. Wait a minute, if I don't control them, if I don't check their phone, if I'm just endlessly nice and giving, won't I just get used? Won't I become a doormat? Won't they just cheat on me because I gave them too much freedom? Here is the cold, hard, psychological truth. Control has never, in the history of humanity, prevented betrayal. Let me repeat that. Your rules do not stop someone from cheating. If a person wants to deceive you, your strict boundaries, your GPS tracking, and your constant interrogations will not stop them. It will only make them more skilled, more creative, and more careful at hiding their lies. But here's the incredible paradox of the cage without doors. People who practice true love and give absolute freedom are actually the least likely to be fooled. They're not naive, blind fools. When you live peacefully, when your nervous system is not in a constant state of frantic fight or flight trying to control another human being, your intuition becomes razor sharp. Your mind is like a calm, undisturbed lake. The moment a single drop of deception hits the water, you see the ripples immediately. You can detect micro-expressions of lying, shifts in behavior, and emotional distance far faster than someone who lives in a constant, blinding state of paranoia and noise. And most importantly, because you aren't desperately clinging to them for your own survival, if they do betray you, you don't shatter. You see the truth, you accept it, and you are ready to let them walk away with complete peace of mind. You don't lose your world, because you are your world. Learning how to love isn't about reading more books on manipulation tactics or memorizing dating tricks. It is a profound process of subtraction. It is exactly like a master sculptor working on a rough block of stone. The sculptor doesn't add anything to the stone to make it beautiful. They simply, patiently chip away the excess to reveal the masterpiece that was already hidden inside. In love, we must chip away our hot tempers. We must chisel away our endless petty demands. We must grind down our toxic misconceptions and our fragile egos. The perfection of a relationship doesn't come from forcing your partner to be flawless. It comes from stripping away your own selfish behaviors until only pure connection remains. And this leads us to the ultimate, final test of true love, the hardest thing you will ever have to do. Visual: a train departing a station. A person waving goodbye, smiling softly despite a tear in their eye. If the day comes when your partner looks at you and decides they want to leave, give them the ultimate gift, their freedom. Do not beg, do not cling, do not threaten or manipulate them into staying, because in that frantic moment of begging, you are only pitying yourself, you are not loving them. If you truly love the wild sunflower and it needs to grow in a different field to survive, you let it go. Ironically, it is exactly this profound, unshakable lack of clinging that often makes people realize what they are losing. By leaving the door wide open, you become the only place they truly want to be, a sanctuary entirely free of judgment and chains. To ensure true love isn't just theory, we need a practice process to transform our mindset. I challenge you to a 7-day roadmap. Day 1. Recognize the wild sunflower, the practice of observation. Observe your partner the way you would admire a wild sunflower in the outskirts of Dalat. Remind yourself, they are an independent individual, not my possession. Do not try to pluck them towards you with unspoken demands. Day 2. Open the pigeon cage, the practice of respecting freedom. Today, loosen your control. Absolutely no checking phones or interrogating schedules. Let your partner be free, because peace is the only place people truly want to return to. Day 3. Lead by example instead of teaching, the practice of no harm. Instead of forcing your partner to change, start with yourself. If you want to receive kindness, be kind first. Do not harm the relationship with judgments or coercion. Day 4. The feast of the fulfilled, the practice of no demands. Do something good for your partner without expecting anything in return. Remind yourself, I am here to give, not to demand. Day 5. The intuition of peace, the practice of trust. Instead of spending time worrying about being deceived, spend that time developing yourself. When you don't seek to control, your mind is at its clearest to recognize the truth. Day 6. Sculpting the stone. The practice of removal. Choose one bad habit, like jealousy or being demanding, and resolve to chisel it out of your behavior today. Perfection comes from removing mistakes. Day 7. The class of decency. The practice of acceptance. Practice being ready to accept all variables, even separation. Whisper to yourself, "If you are happier leaving, I gladly gift you that freedom." True love might be hard to find, as all valuable things in life are rare, but it is a destination worth striving for, so we deserve happiness. This isn't a lecture, just a personal perspective and a lifestyle choice. If we look at the world through the lens of true love, relationships will have less hatred, fewer arguments, and more nurturing. I wish you the greatest joy in life, to love and be loved truly. See you in our next conversation.